What a year it's been. What a year it's been. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Absolutely. We will definitely come on to that. We want to start by wishing Ben Chilwell a speedy recovery as well. Yes. Obviously, the news come out about Ben having surgery. Yeah, wish you very well, Ben. And obviously, there's always going to be a seat in the studio for you, mate, whenever you fancy it.
Take mine.
Yeah. Let's start with chatting about the weekend then, because I mean, what a brilliant performance, what a brilliant result against Aston Villa as well, Sam.
Yeah, big result. I think that's the type of result we needed. I think there was a lot of pressure from, the media saying that we should win every single game when we know that's not realistic. But yeah, I think the boys showed a lot of resilience, like team effort, team work, and it was just nice seeing Lukaku come on and just show the dominance that we've expected and everyone's been talking about. And he seemed like he really enjoyed himself as well, so that just topped it off.
Yeah, he was fantastic, wasn't he, Zach? He's a real difference maker. And we said this when he joined in the summer, how much of a difference he will make. And, he's been very unlucky with injury and illness and stuff like that, which has kept him out for a little while. And a little bit of a sort of stuttering start to him returning from injury. But my word, now he's back. What a performance that was.
Yeah, I bet he must love playing Villa. He played them previously in the season and he scored 2 as well. Yeah, that was a really nice performance to see him come back from. I think, as you mentioned, he'd kind of been struggling to got back, then got COVID, and then it's been a hard couple of months for him. And I think we've missed him massively. Like, we've missed the target for it with Werner also being out and Havertz also being out. Our number 9 or our striker isn't really a striker. It's someone that's kind of filling in for that role. And so seeing him back is fantastic. And not just seeing him back, having such a dominating performance and looking at his very best is great to see.
We spoke about it at the weekend, Sam, and we spoke about it the last couple of weeks, to be fair, about managing minutes and stuff like that. And maybe that's why we're seeing a second half performance a lot better than the first, potentially, because, we are having to look at how long some players can last at the moment and not overdo them and not overwork them and overrush them. But is that maybe a catalyst to say these players that are coming on in the second half and having such an impact, we need that from the start potentially tonight?
Yeah, I think so, but I also believe in the fact that we've played a lot of games and the players are definitely going to be fatigued and some of them have been playing every 2 or 3 days, so I can understand why sometimes you start slow, but at the same time, the fact that we've got players coming back from injuries like Kovacic, Kanté, they're able to share some minutes. We've seen Lukaku's impact as well, so and Callum, he was back into the team and he got an assist as well, so I think I think Tuchel's making the right choices in terms of how many minutes certain players play.
Absolutely right. And there is that thing as well, Zach, we're obviously very aware of the situation at the moment. You could have a team at 4 o'clock that can't then play at 7 o'clock because of the testing and the situation we're in at the moment. So there is a little bit of that you can't really get into a rhythm because you don't really know what's around the corner. Chelsea have been affected like every other football club in terms of COVID, but we've been able to get games on and continue that consistency. There are teams that aren't able to fulfil their fixtures. There is a little bit of that as well, isn't there? We have a fixture congestion and a pile-up that other teams haven't felt, and yet we're dealing with it extremely well.
No, indeed, and fair play to the medical staff and everyone at Chelsea for the way it's gone about. Look, I think overall, most clubs would rather be in our position, where you've played your games and you're not having to worry about them being built up and having that game in hand as well, which adds more pressure. I think a lot of the time when people have games in hand, it's kind of considered, oh, well, they're going to win that game. They're going to get, especially if you're a bigger team, you're going to get 3 points. And when it comes to it, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Plus, add the fact that Chelsea have also got a Club World Cup that looks like it's still going ahead as well. There's still so many more games. So the fact that we're not adding any more, I think, adding any more that isn't us progressing in a competition is a good thing. And so, yeah, we've mentioned before about the Chelsea squad and the depth in that squad to be able to handle things like this. Again, we probably didn't foreshadow what has happened. I think no squad could have dealt with that. But coming away from it, really only losing 1 game against West Ham, I think is not a bad couple of results.
I completely agree. I think it's 1 defeat in 17 in all competitions, something like that. Sound like genuinely, it is a brilliant run. We're bang on halfway through the season now, and I think if you look at it, to be in the title race, to still be in contention for Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup as well. I think Thomas Tuchel, all in all, will be very pleased with the first half of the season, with all the differences and all the things that we've had to deal with, especially. Yeah,
definitely. We spoke about it in the last few weeks. It's not been that bad. We've seen some of the draws, like it's been unfortunate with the goals that we've conceded. Some of the decisions that have happened in the game. It's not necessarily down to players playing terribly. Sometimes you just get results like that. But at the same time, I think Tuchel and the team have done really well of just letting those games go. Just because in this period, it's so easy to just get sucked into December, and we've seen it in the past. Like, you can have 2 or 3 bad results, and then that slump in December, just the whole season's just done. So I think Tuchel's done that the decisions that he's made have been really good.
You can have a bad 10 days, be out of 2 cup competitions and lose
literally.
7 points in the league. You really can, can't you? Let's see the team then that Thomas Tuchel has selected for this evening. In goal, Edu Mendy, a back 3, captained by Cesar Azpilicueta alongside Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger. We think it's going to be Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side with Reece James on the right. Potentially might be Christian Pulisic in left wing-back. We might see that change as the evening goes on. Mateo Kovacic and Jorginho in a 2 in the middle, and then a front 3, Romelu Lukaku, Mason Mount, and Christian Pulisic on there. But that may happen. That may be a swap there, Zach, mightn't it, between Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic potentially? Yeah,
indeed, and it could even be James goes left wing back and Hudson-Odoi or Pulisic goes right wing back. We saw Pulisic doing that towards the end of the game against Aston Villa and did it to actually a very good degree, to be quite honest. Helped out the defence massively. Really good to see Lukaku back up top there. Really, really good. We know what kind of Brighton are like, especially defensively. They've got some strong defenders in their back line, and so with Lukaku, like, he offers you just so many different levels. Like, if you want him to hold it up, that's perfect. If you want him to run in behind, he's like the mix of everything you can do, which means you can change up the way you want to play mid-game or however it may be. Against Aston Villa, I think we saw the real best out of him, where he can do it all. Aerially brilliant, can run in behind, shows his strength. But like, normally when you're 6'3" and built like he is, you're not fast. But my God, he's rapid and one of the quickest players on the pitch. So really, really happy to see him back out there.
Like you say, he offers such a different dimension because, as Zach's saying, he could do everything. I mean, the 2 goals that he played a huge part in the weekend are carbon copies of that. You know, he can be the focal point. He can win a brilliant header in front of Tyrone Mings, who, one of the biggest, most imposing centre-halves in the league, or he can run in beyond. He can force a foul from, was it Ezri Konsa for the penalty as well. So he can do absolutely everything. The fact that he's back in the side then gives a different dimension for like a Reece James or whoever's playing at wing back to say, okay, I know wherever I put it in that 6-yard box, he's going to be demanding. He wants it in there. Yeah,
he's the type of striker he doesn't settle for just being in the game. He wants to score goals. He's hungry to just be involved and just terrorise defenders. Like, he enjoys that so much. And I think it's also good to see Kovacic back as well, because their link up, we've seen them link up quite well at the beginning of the season. And I think that's going to be a partnership that we're going to enjoy, the way Kovacic drives past players and his decision-making in the final third as well. So, yeah, man, I'm excited.
I want to talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi as well, because I thought he was exceptional at the weekend. I really did. I thought he was brilliant, especially off the back of, having COVID, coming back into it. I think Thomas Tuchel said he'd only trained once or twice, and not a huge amount coming in, having such an imposing position in the game and done really well, assisted the goal, he created another chance. Really, really, really well done. But also, he's another one that, like we've seen in the lineup there, he could occupy a number of different positions. He could play on the right, the left, wing-back, either side as well. I think he's a player that seems to have developed so much, but also has become so integral to us because we have to have that fluidity, don't we?
I think we've forgotten still how young Callum Hudson-Odoi is. He's only just turned 21, and he's in his 4th full season as a Chelsea first-team player, which is crazy to think of. He was there before Mason Mount was and before Reece James was, and he's younger than them, which is mad to think about. But he's been unfortunate as well. He's had these injuries that he's had to come back from, and as you said, COVID. But recently, he's really started to find his form, and he's having consistent performances to a good level as well. And Thomas Tuchel's been really, really happy with him as well, with his performance. That left wing spot, yes, he is versatile, and I think he's more than happy to do that job and to play right wing back if you need him to play left wing back or wherever it may be. But when he's in that left wing spot and he's willing to take on the man and he's got the ball at his feet and he's driving forward, like it's a really impressive thing to watch as a Chelsea fan, and hopefully we'll have another strong performance from him today.
Absolutely right, I do. I think he's been brilliant so far, and again, we'll no doubt have another brilliant performance from him this evening. Time to get the reaction from the boys up in the gantry. Jason, Ben, what have you made of team news, lads?
Well, 4 changes, I suppose that's about right. Jason and I just trying to work out who's going to play left wing back. We presume Callum, Jason, is going to play there in the absence of Alonso?
Looks like it. Looks like it. That's. I mean, you could have Christian there, but right now, Callum looks the more obvious choice.
And Pulisic does play again, but crucially not as the number 9. I guess everyone will be talking about it after that stellar sub-performance. Assist of the year, Lukaku, I'm giving him, as well as a good-headed goal. If that's not the best assist of the season or of 2021, I don't know what was.
Yep.
Are we about to get another purple patch, do you think? Just in time?
Do you know what?
For Tottenham 3 times, Liverpool and City.
Do you know what? We've had December off. We're level on points with Liverpool. Think about that. Liverpool, you know, they're the closest to Man City right now, and they are in the goal difference. But we've had a really tricky time of late, and injuries clearly have hurt us. COVID clearly hurt us. The games, but every team's gone through that. But you know what? To win tonight, and we go above Liverpool.
And then, of course, they come here on Sunday, and it is such a chocker New Year because of the extra games.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm kind of a bit fed up of all managers moaning about it, especially the ones who've got the good squads. You know, I was listening to Pep on the way up, and you're thinking, come on, mate. Look at your bench with Grealish and Foden and De Bruyne and
But
Mahrez.
do you know what? This is not me defending managers. This is me defending them to defend their club. Every manager has an agenda, and their agenda is to defend their club, whether it be refereeing decisions, whether it be about fixture congestion, whether it be about VAR, whether it be about something the linesman said to the... They all got an agenda, and they're all happy to deliver it when it suits them. Let me tell you now, right? All I'm interested in Chelsea. I don't care about any other club. What's the best for Chelsea right now?
Just want to talk about central midfield before we throw back to the studio. Jorginho being the constant through niggling injuries for N'Golo and a much longer term one for Kovacic. They're kind of in and out, but Jorginho ideally is the constant. And we're getting half an hour one and an hour the other. OK, he'll play the first half, he'll play the second half. Thomas has had to manage them very, very carefully. N'Golo came off after 60, didn't he, in the Villa match last we saw. It's covering again tonight. Yep. I'm not quite sure, actually, whether that is now just the shape of things to come, or is he just managing it for now until it gets less hectic, but that won't happen until March.
So here's how I see it.
And does it matter?
OK, here's how I see it. Who is the best on the ball of the midfield quadruple that we have? Who's the best on the ball?
Jorginho.
Right. Who's the best at winning the ball back of that lot?
N'Golo.
Right. So out of that, when your one misses, you've now got to try and somehow square that circle somehow. So of all the players that we've got in there, without N'Golo, I would probably say of all the players that we've got, Cover fits enough of that. And then if Jorginho misses, Cover fits enough of that as well. And after that, it's then literally just pick who's available. That's what I think is going on. Jorginho, keep him fit. Had it been the other way around, it would be keep Kanté fit. That's exactly how I see it right now. It's literally spinning plates.
And of course, it does depend on who you're playing and their sort of style as well. You need N'Golo probably for quite a lot of the games we've got coming up, maybe more than you would necessarily against a Brighton side tonight who are playing a different kind of way. But with a couple of Tottenhams coming up, 3 of them, and City as well as Liverpool, there should be enough options available for Thomas Tuchel. Back to you. We'll speak to you later.
Good work, boys. Brilliant as always. Thank you very much. Jason Cundy and Ben Andrews are going to be a commentary team a little bit later on as well. Right, let's get some social media reaction then to the team news that's come out not too long ago.
Lukaku
link up. Yeah, I like that. They were superb. What a link up at the weekend as well. Pulisic wing back, Kovacic in the midfield, and Lukaku up top. There's a lot of
2020 vision.
There's a lot of sort of different combining features that could happen, couldn't there? There's a lot of mixing that could happen during the game, and I think that's an interesting perspective, because I know that we always say this, Sam, but if we're asking these questions, then you know that the Brighton camp are going to be asking these questions. And if we don't know and we watch them every single week, then they'll have done their research, of course, but they'll be asking exactly the same as what we're doing, having this same conversation in the dressing room even, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it's interesting, because we said we don't know who's playing left wing back, but I think it could depend on who's having a good few minutes, because realistically, if Callum Hudson-Odoi is going forward and he's doing well, Pulisic might be like, go on. I'll just chill for a bit. And likewise, if it's the other way around. So the fact that there's so many interchangeable positions that they're in the team, and the fact that they can play in so many different positions, I think it's just a recipe for success.
And, I suppose in the same way that left wing back, you've got the same option up top in the 3, haven't you, really? Because we saw at some point during the Villa game, there was almost a 2 up top with Mason and a 10 behind instead of it being a 9 and 2 10s. This formation has that fluidity. That's the whole point of what we were saying on the run to the Champions League final last year.
Indeed. Well, at Inter Milan, Romelu Lukaku played up top with Martinez as well, and you do find that he seems to enjoy kind of drifting out towards that right flank as well. He's left-footed, he can cut in, do that. And you're right, that did kind of happen, especially with Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's also right-footed. It works quite nicely between them. Same with Pulisic, if he's the one that's in the left-wing position. But you're right, that fluidity to have that front line all kind of move into each other's positions. It probably hasn't happened as much recently, but again, we've just not had defined roles with a striker up top. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if you maybe even saw Mason Mount drifting out to the left, and one of the other other two drifting out to the right, whatever it may be. There's even a possibility, as you said, that one could, for 10 minutes, Hakim Ziyech's left wing. For the other 10 minutes, Pulisic is left wing. It might very much be down to who's in that position at the right time. And it depends also how Brighton come out and how they play, whether they're trying to be a lot more dominant on the ball, physical, and maybe one's skill set is better than the others.
No, you're completely right. There's definitely fluidity in the squad, and that's why we've been very impressed watching it recently. Right, in time for the social. Yes, welcome to the social. You know how it works by now. A little look across all things in social media to do with Chelsea over the last couple of days. And there has obviously been one thing that has mainly been leading the way, hasn't there, really? It's been hashtag welcome back JT. I mean, he's back, Sam. The main man, John Terry, is home. Yeah,
huge for Chelsea, huge for the academy as well. I think there's no better player to learn from, to be honest, in terms of Chelsea history. He's successful, he's a leader. Like captain, leader, legend. Like, you don't just get that slogan for no reason. Do you know what I mean? And I think that type of role model is so good for the players, just because they're seeing the Mounts, the Callum Hudson-Odois, the Jameses come through the system. And Terry, like you said off air, he was one of the first, to make that leap. So the fact that he's going to be coming in and doing consultations, like having conversations, even just a 5-minute conversation will be good enough. But the fact he's going to constantly be around is amazing for them.
Absolutely. Let's get. This is the tweet that JT put up to kind of announce his return. It kind of underlines the role he's going to be doing. I'm delighted to announce that I'm coming home and I've taken up a consultancy role at Chelsea FC Academy, as well as delivering on-the-field coaching sessions. I'll be involved in coaching discussions and mentoring our academy players. That's a really good point, Zach. There's going to be loads of sort of well wishes and stuff like that we've seen as well on social media the last couple of days. But this is exactly the point, isn't it? Like Sam's saying, there's no one better to learn from. I mean, his picture's out on the wall outside, on the shed wall. If you walk through Cobham, everywhere, John Terry is a part of it, because he is such an imposing figure on this football club's history. Arguably, if not definitely, Chelsea's best ever player. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was the guy that kind of kick-started Chelsea's dominant era of winning trophies left, right and centre. A lot of people talk about when Roman Abramovich came in and Chelsea buying a lot of players, but he was there from the beginning. He came through the ranks and again, he's one of the best players out of that bunch. And he has a level that he can teach that others probably can't just yet. As you mentioned, Mason Mount, that they're still going through this. They could learn from John Terry themselves by talking to him. Whereas he's been there, he's done that. He's been at the biggest games. He's played internationally in World Cups, Euros, all that stuff, Champions League finals, and he's learned so much from it. And he's had so many different experiences. And whether that is a player considering about his future at Chelsea, or whether it's someone about who wants to maybe go on a loan move or whatever it may be, he has all that experience and has the perfect response to them. Absolutely right. Lots of well wishes, obviously, from Chelsea fans all over the globe saying about this, and a lot of these just saying sort of welcome back to the legend. But the thing is, Sam, and I think Zach's nailed it there, he can teach players things that you cannot learn in terms of, he will be able to give you a mindset, a mentality, a talk about how he felt during a Champions League final, how he felt missing out on a Champions League final, how he felt going on his first loan spell away from Chelsea, a club he'd been at since he was 14 years old, captaining the team for the first time, lifting the first Premier League title in 50-odd years at this club. Things that John Terry can tell you, you cannot learn, but if you are going to learn it from someone, or at least attempt to learn it, to have John Terry telling you, this is what I did, this is what you can do, this is how you can do that, it's invaluable. Yeah, honestly. And he's a Chelsea fan as well, so he obviously wants the best for all of the players, wants the best for the club. He's got experience from being an assistant manager at Aston Villa as well, so he's going to bring that over to Chelsea. And I think for the players, because of the growth that we've seen in the last few years of how well they're doing, how many players have come through, I think this is the perfect time to have people like John Terry, Peter Cech is around, Ashley Cole as well, to just give you those words that when you make that step up, just know what's coming, and there's no one better to hear that from. Oh, absolutely right, absolutely right. I mean, what a year it's been. Brilliant finish with John Terry coming in. Time for show and tell. Now, you know how this usually goes. You can have your say and your favourite moment. We've all picked one to talk about. I'll be honest with you, someone got in a lot earlier than the other two. Someone nailed this very early. So, Zach, you've gone for show and tell today. Your favourite moment of 2021. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there, that's for sure. Is this one, yeah. Yeah, a little date back in May, the Champions League final. What a ball that is by Mason Mount. Brilliant from Kai Havertz. Tucks it away, and the rest, as they say, is I think my heart actually stopped, when he went round him and the ball was just there. It's a beautiful moment, and as trophy lifts go, this has got to be up there. Great jump from Azpilicueta, it has to be said. It's like I've been practicing that one. But I mean, look,
there's so many storylines to this, whether you the Mason Mount storyline, the Thiago Silva and Tuchel storyline, the Cobham storyline, whatever it may be. That was a beautiful, beautiful moment that day. I mean, that whole run to that moment is just incredible. But yeah, good luck beating that.
Yeah, it's a good one to be fair. And obviously, you know, you were out in Porto for it. Was in the studio here doing the show for it. Sam, you were amongst it, weren't you? A Chelsea fan. We're going to talk about it a little bit more later on, aren't we?
Yeah.
But it's special because everyone's got that memory of where they were, Champions League final. Like you said, your heart stopped. I think I've seen that Kai Havertz goal more in slow motion than I have in real time. It feels like it's in slow motion.
Honestly, I think I've watched it over like 1,000 times, you know, like from every angle, even like phone footage from in the stands.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of those moments that you just want to relive all the time. And like we said earlier, like you're always going to remember where you was, who you screamed at, who you jumped on. You know what I mean? It was just beautiful, man.
Very special moment. Yeah, there's lots of very special moments actually this year. It's been quite a historic one. My favourite moment of the year has been the women winning the quadruple. I mean, genuinely, so much fun to watch this year. They've been involved in so many games that have got copious amounts of goals.
Made the Champions League final.
Made the Champions League final as well. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Erin Cuthbert's had a crazy year. Fran Kirby became the first player to score 100 goals in the WSL. Magda Eriksson and Millie Bright getting used to lifting trophies there, the first one being the WSL. Pernille Harder, you know, one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. Sam Kerr finishing in the top three at a Ballon d'Or this year as well, chipping at Wembley. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'd love to know what the actual stats are. The distance between winning the first trophy and the fourth trophy, the quadruple, because this was only a couple of weekends ago.
Indeed.
And the first one, obviously, COVID was way back in May. So, yeah, that's my highlight of 2021 has been the quadruple for the women. Could have been a quintuple the way they were going. Just absolutely brilliant. They've obliterated so many teams, and yes, so fun to watch. And 2022 is going to be another year to tick off because they are going to smash it again. So, Sam, what have you gone for your favourite moment?
Okay, so you guys' highlights are good, yeah. But obviously, I feel like this one will pull on your heartstrings a little bit more because the Cobham Academy and just the homegrown players that have come through to the Chelsea first team, I think that needs to be talked about a lot because we've seen Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mount, Reece James, Chalobah, all of them come through, and even the Harvey Vales and Soon Bell all coming through as well. It's like it's just constant. Do you know what I mean? And it's the quality that they have, and the fact that they're so humble, and you can tell that they're genuinely fans. They genuinely want to do well. They've got their heads. What's the saying? They've got their heads screwed on. Screwed on. Screwed on. I think I was thinking of a deeper one, but that was the easier one to go for. But it's just nice to see the fact that Tuchel cares for their progress and they're getting given opportunities. So and with John Terry coming in as well, it's literally only the beginning.
Yeah, you've done a good job there. And I don't want to help your argument, but Tino Livramento doing such a good job. Tariq Lamptey, Armando Brojo is doing brilliantly on loan at Southampton. Billy Gilmore, Conor Gallagher. Yeah, very strong argument to be fair. Comment down below. Let us know your favourite moment at 2021. If it's not those, whatever your favourite moment is. But one thing has been sure this year is Chelsea have felt it. We've all felt it together. Chelsea's definitely very much a family. Absolutely love that. It does, isn't it?
Yeah.
All on point. Outfits are great. Love the colours, the cream.
Yeah.
Even though it's very kind of wintry, I like it. It's really nice.
I know we've all said this, and obviously we're all going to have a biased perspective of it, but it does feel different, doesn't it? It feels the fact that we've had so many moments this year, fans coming back into stadiums. It feels that the families come back together. You know, we've all had a Christmas hopefully together where you've managed to see a loved one and stuff like that. So yeah, it does feel this year has very much been the epitome of that as a family.
Well, I mean, we kind of said it. We've said it a bunch of times throughout this year, but like we're going from no fans in the stadium to the players saying this, the manager saying it, and then that first game, I mean, it was me and you therefore against Crystal Palace at home, and it was incredible to see that. And then also in that same game, Trevor Chalobah scores his first goal in his first start in the Premier League for Chelsea, and like the whole team's hugging him, the whole stadium's erupting, 40,000 people. It's something which like a year ago didn't feel like it was going to be possible again or something like that for a long time, and it thankfully did. And it's good to be back. We're looking back on it actually now. It's quite it's good to think about.
It's quite emotional. It's very, very special. It's a Chelsea thing. It's what we do. Right, in time for strolling down Fulham Road with me and Sam.
Right, so Sam, we've come outside. I want to have a little chat about Champions League night, obviously. So I was in the studio, so I did this walk. We're going to do the walk that I had to do after full time, afterwards. The nervous walk. After we'd finished the game, obviously Champions of Europe, Kings of Europe, everyone's in such a good mood. There was a buzz around the ground still because there's quite a lot of people congregated on the road, on Kings Road, on Fulham Road, which was really, really nice, a really special moment. So where did you watch the Champions League?
So I watched the Champions League final in in no signal. They've got like an area where they were actually having a lot of people coming to support. But to my surprise, I was one of only 2 Chelsea fans. So everyone else there was supported either Arsenal, United, Tottenham, and a few City fans. So I was outnumbered. But it was really good. It was really good, especially because of the result as well.
It makes it better, doesn't it, when you're outnumbered? Because I don't know about you, but whenever I've watched games in a pub that isn't a Chelsea pub, or I've been on holiday or something like that, you always see a little congregation of Chelsea fans, and then you kind of club together. You like the fact,
it's like family.
Yeah, exactly. When you're up against it, you love that even more so as well. Because a lot of Man City fans, and I'll be honest with you, before the Champions League final, I'm sure you were as well, very nervous ahead of it because Man City were brilliant. They looked brilliant in the run up to it. But when you get here, Chelsea do big finals better than any other team.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was confident going into that final. I was one of the only few people that was saying, we're going to win it. Like, I'm being serious, and I called that it was going to be 1-0. I said Mount is going to be involved as well, and all of that happened. Like, it was one of those moments where as soon as the goal went in, I don't think I had stopped celebrating. I was celebrating up until the final whistle, even though I was nervous that anything could happen, because obviously it's a Champions League final.
It is what it is, isn't it? So when I turned up, because obviously we were doing the show in the studio with Carlton Cole, Jason Cundy, Abby McCarthy. When I turned up, parked downstairs in the car park here, the megastore was heaving. This was probably 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, absolutely heaving. Again, so it's, we know that the COVID world and everything like that, people started to be allowed out again, things were going well. Big day for Chelsea fans. I just wanted to be here, so it's buzzing everywhere around here. At the end of the game, we'd waited so long because there was the drone show that happened, which was amazing.
That looked amazing.
It looked incredible. Obviously, I didn't see much of it in the studio, but we had the live vision, live pictures. People were loving it, absolutely brilliant. I came out here to leave at probably now maybe 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Came out here and there was about 3,000 or 4,000 Chelsea fans all lining the streets, right? So I couldn't get anywhere, couldn't move anywhere. So I stood here, exactly in this spot right now. Me and Abby were stood here. Jason had gone off somewhere to find his boys and celebrate with his sons. Carlton had gone home as well. He'd managed to somehow wriggle out and then get a taxi down by Fulham Broadway, I think it was. We were just stood here going, what do we do? and the police are going, if you've got a car downstairs, you may as well go back in the studio. So we were in the studio for about an hour and a half after then, just kind of a massive calm down going, it's amazing, but I can't get home. Love the Chelsea, come on, love that. So it's one of those that you don't appreciate on the night, do you? But everyone's got a story about the Champions League final.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's special for so many reasons. Like, I'm sure everyone here that's coming to watch the game now are thinking, when we're thinking of that one glorious moment, it's just that Havertz goal and then the final whistle. Even when you look at the videos that we put on the YouTube as well, when they're counting down the minutes, it was honestly just amazing.
What a year, what a very special year. Back to the studio for some more reminiscing.
If you've not had enough of that, by the way, and you've got a little bit of time to go over the next couple of days, because no one knows what day it is, you're just kind of muddling through to New Year's Eve. There's Porto Uncovered on Chelsea's YouTube, which is unbelievable to watch. 2 parts, it's amazing, well worth a watch. Right, time for the quiz then, boys. Okay, so this is
about 2021.
It is about 2021. So this is a higher or lower game, all right? Okay, 2021, higher or lower. So You're going to have to answer the first question. That's going to give us a starting point. So, Zach, I'm going to start with you, mate. How many goals have Chelsea men scored in 2021?
I feel like we scored over... Did we score over 100? 89.
Okay, 106. You were close on the first instance. Okay,
Damn it.
so...
Sorry, lads.
So now you have to guess higher or lower. Sam,
So did
right?
that... I didn't get a point taken off...
No, you just didn't get
good,
one. You just didn't get one.
So if he had got it,
Didn't
then-
get one?
Right, so now I'm going to give you the question. You just got to
Okay.
tell me higher or lower than 106, okay?
Okay.
So, how many goals have Sam Kerr and Fran Kirby combined for Chelsea this year in all competitions?
Lower.
Correct, lower.
Even though they've scored loads,
Yeah, they scored-
106 would have
I
been
got
insane.
nervous. Yeah, I got nervous there.
Okay, here we go. Right.
So what number was that? What
So-
number had they scored?
Okay, so give me an answer. Give me a number for that. Just we'll make it fair.
65.
65, okay. Do you think higher or lower than 65?
It depends if you count...
No, don't let him do this. Don't let him do
How many
this.
Okay.
goals have they scored?
Yeah, higher or lower combined. How many goals have they scored combined? Higher or lower than 65?
Fran Kirby and
Sam Kerr.
Lower.
Sam gets the point. I'm giving you 72. Right, we're going to do it this way. Okay.
Love that.
72?
72 goals combined.
They've
In a
had
year.
goals. They've
In a
had
year.
goals, you know, don't get it
In
twisted.
a year, okay. Okay, so because you won that one, I'm going to give you first answer at this one.
God.
1-0 Sam. What was the official attendance at the Champions League final?
I know this.
Oh, that's not really fair because he was actually there. 56,000.
Higher or lower than 50?
Lower, 26,000.
He was a bit of a cheek 'cause he was there.
Yeah, that shouldn't
14,000.
count.
Yeah,
No, it's
14,000.
14. I was...
1-0, 1-0.
Anyway.
Okay, Sam, Zach, you get first shot.
Okay.
Listen. How many players has Thomas Tuchel used since his arrival at the club? You can show your work in here if you want to do that.
No.
How many players has he used?
How many players has he used since his arrival at the club?
I reckon he's like in the 40s, you know. No. What am I on about? There's only a 32-man squad, but he got those... Obviously, he got the academy boys in. I reckon 38.
Sam, higher or lower than 38? You can show your working as well, mate, if you disagree with Zach or if you agree with him.
11, starting 11. And then we've got the bench of 6. Then, okay. I'm gonna say lower, you know.
What do you think?
I should have gone a little
Like, he said 38, right?
Yeah.
I think like 35, 36.
29, good work.
Yeah.
Really?
When I said 38,
Two-
I went mental.
2-1, Sam. Here we go. Right, Sam. Emma Hayes added another 4 trophies to the Chelsea cabinet in 2021. But how many has she won in total at Chelsea?
Ooh. I'm gonna say straight 9. 9.
Higher or lower than 9, Zach?
Higher, 14.
11. It was a good guess.
But higher.
Higher's right. Okay, so this is nearest to the pin then, 'cause it's 2-all. So this is for the win, okay? Fastest finger first, all right? So I want you to both just jump in once you know the answer, once you think you know what it is, okay? So winner takes all. In which minute of the match did Kai Havertz score the winner of the
42.
champion? Bang on the money. Oh, my word. That was very good.
That's really good.
Very, very impressed
Done
with
that before, though. So.
I don't remember that.
Very, very good.
That's
very,
impressive,
very
bro.
good.
Fair play. I
All
love
right,
that.
time for in case
Last
you
quiz
missed
of
it.
the
We've got
year,
lots,
come on.
a little bit of a lighter look at social media this week. We've got loads going on, obviously, boys. The fact that football is thick and fast, happening all the time at the moment, it does feel like things get missed, don't they? But over Christmas, just love a little bit of a laugh. There's so many blooper videos on TV at the moment. Those are football blooper videos as well. Have you got any funny moments you can remember from Chelsea this year?
Funny moments. So much has happened, to be honest. Goodness gracious. Off the top of my head.
Well, I tell you what, let's go a little bit deeper, because obviously you do the Clubhouse as well. You do Clubhouse, which is really well worth a watch on
I'll
the
tell you
fifth
what,
stand-up
I've
and
got
stuff
one.
like that. Go on.
Mason Mount's tooth was funny. Him going to
that
the
was
dentist and getting his wisdom teeth taken out. Shout out to his mum for recording it.
Oh.
Fair play.
I've had my wisdom teeth out as well. I tell you what, it is not fun. So he has done well to get anything out of that. And still, what a lovely young man. When he's had his wisdom teeth out, first thing you think of,
about charity.
Yeah.
Charity. I love that. Sam, we see loads of little videos, little behind the scenes things. I love watching the Chelsea Unstein extras and stuff like that, the videos on there, because you always see little fun and games. One of my favourite bits I think I can remember is when Lee Parker was in Dublin for the Chelsea away trip pre-season, and they were playing the basketball game in the hotel. The competitive nature between the players, off camera, toy little basketball, trying to throw in a hoop. It's amazing.
They want to win everything. That's the mentality, though. You know, you want to win every single thing. No, it's hilarious. I love those unseen videos.
Tell you something that I wish we'd have recorded, which would have been amazing footage, is Jason Cundy in the gantry every single game. Because, oh my word.
There needs to be a GoPro in there or something.
There has to. You don't realise, Ben wears a padded jacket. He wears that in the summer just to stop Jason the amount of times it'll grab him throughout the game. But you've watched the game with him as well. You know exactly what he's like.
It's like playing 90 minutes. It feels like a WWE Royal Rumble, to be honest. It's nuts, because it's also just like, it's the grabbing. And it's just like, it's almost like you're his stress toy. But yeah, I mean, fair play to Ben. He's done it for years now, and it's almost like, I think that people don't realise, whenever like a new commentator comes in or whatever as well, we always give them the pre-warning of like, Jason's a grabber. He lives the game whilst commentating. And you hear it in his voice as well. I think you hear it in his voice.
You can't take the player out of him. He's just making sure he's a centre half. He's getting touch tight to his centre forward. Yeah, I love it. Speaking of boys, over to Ben and Jason.
Evening all. I can confirm the man does grab, but it's all in passion. Here we are for the warm-up then, and what
kind of passion?
Well, you know, in the best kind of passionate grabbing way you could possibly imagine, in a football sense, with your clothes on. Here they are warming up then. Good evening all, and welcome to the bridge. It is time to take advantage. There haven't been many slips from Man City and Liverpool. There was one last night. There probably won't be one from City tonight against Brentford, but we live in hope in that front. But in terms of Brighton tonight, well, there are all sorts of keys to the game. We've got 3 points for you, and the first of them, we do this one a lot. But, Jason, starting fast, you can't always rely on a late show. Didn't start fast against Brentford, and certainly didn't against Aston Villa. There was a lot of sloppiness in there, and Brighton have just picked up their first win, and they've been playing well while they've been drawing games as well. You don't want to give them any encouragement, otherwise this could get slippery.
Yeah, good evening, Ben. Good evening, everyone. You're absolutely right. I think the question should perhaps change. Is we spoke for many years about starting fast, and there's not a manager in the land when setting his team up and his last words wouldn't be something of the, you know, along the lines of, lads, let's make a sharp start, fast start. Let's make sure we get, you know, we start brightly. There's all of that. For me, take our chances, and that turns your sharp start, whatever you want to word it, into a great start, and then that sharp start will come. The amount of times I've seen us have early chances, good chances. I'm not talking like 3 or 4 seconds, 3 or 4 minutes. Sorry, I'm talking about like first 15, first 20, first half hour, when you can start to dictate. Because we all, more often than not, we will dictate the tempo of a game. If you get the first goal early and you're on top, more often than not every time, you then start to make a sharp start. It's about the first goal, Ben.
Especially this team, and very strong. All the games this season, Jace, scored first in 22 of the 29, and only once has a defeat followed, and that was West Ham. That's the only time Chelsea have gone in front and lost a match this season. Secondly, as we have a look at Romelu Lukaku warming up, if you missed the news, he's back in the starting lineup tonight. His opposite number, if you like, Brighton's centre forward, Neal Maupay, just scored a lovely goal. I don't know if anyone saw that against Brentford. I think it was just after the Chelsea Villa game, in fact, later that same evening. Great finish, and so was the Trossard one. Trossard's missing. Maupay, he does miss a few, but he is a dangerous striker. He's got very nearly 50% of Brighton's goals.
Okay, so the question is, right, don't give him chances, Maupay, because he will cause problems. And what he does, he's horrible to play against. I've played against players like him where they niggle. He loves to wind up the opposition fans as well. The new player celebration I've noticed since we've had COVID, Ben, is the cupping of the ears. The cupping of the ears is something that I've not seen in a long time so regularly. And let me tell you now, that boy there, Maupay, he will deliver it. whatever minute he scores, even if you're not giving abuse. And there's something about, I don't know why, it's the new celebration. Even if you're celebrating at the fans' end where they cut the ears, and he is the best in the business. And he loves, honestly, but he loves it. He loves to wind fans up. He loves to be the best he's ever done was Crystal Palace away. I don't remember that, Ben.
I was going to say Aubameyang and Arsenal. He got them really right, didn't he? But yeah, go on, Palace.
That's another level. So Crystal Palace were playing away. Sorry, Brighton are playing away at Crystal Palace. It was a scuff goal kick. We're in the 93rd minute. It's a scuff goal kick. It was 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Somehow the ball finds its way to, and he's off, celebrate. So that's what he does. So he will rattle the fans. Don't let him rattle the fans. And don't let him rattle the players, because he's very, very good at that.
Now, this man here is key to point number 3. Moving it quicker, what we've seen a lot of, to be honest, I feel like we've seen a lot of it for a while. I'm talking going back to Sarri, is maybe 2 touches when there can be 1. You know, everyone's going to know that the little passage I'm talking about, when it goes Thiago, Rudiger, Thiago, maybe Reece James, back to Thiago. Maybe there's 2 touches there rather than 1. Should this side move the ball quicker?
I think that the place that you've really got to move the ball quick, in my opinion, as you move further up the pitch, the quicker the ball's got to move. Because the more players are around, it makes natural sense. As the ball moves through midfield, there are many different ways, and Jorginho's very good at it. He can stop the ball and move it quickly, 1 and 2 touch. He's brilliant at 1 and 2 touch, and recognising when you play 1 touch, when you play 2 touch. I think at times, the question I think you're asking is, when you have the 3rd touch, that's where you get in trouble. And there's a couple of times there was a challenge against Aston Villa, Ben, you might be able to remind me when it was, where he got caught, and I went, oh, I'm not sure about that one, and it was a foul, but it's those where you have too many touches. So moving the ball, so 1 and 2 touch, and certainly in the final third, you have maybe 3, but once you get into that final third, then it's up to them to close you down. If they give you 2 or 3 touches, you might be able to move the ball quickly. But yeah, the quicker you move the ball in any game, at any level, in any part of the pitch, if you move it quickly to beat your opponent, you're going to get round him.
There is Neil Maupay. Brighton tonight, I should just mention, they're going to be playing in a shade of green. Not seen too often around these parts since the day that Kanté made his debut in it. There's Brighton's is slightly paler. It is slightly paler, but it's getting that way. Any of you around in, what would that have been, about 88-ish, that odd turquoise jade.
Yes,
it was known as jade.
It was jade.
I don't know if it is jade.
It was jade.
This is of minor significance. Of major significance is the fact that Romelu Lukaku was back with a double bang, really, off the bench. His first Premier League goal, Jason, since the other game against Villa in the middle of September. He went from Zenit Matchday 1 to Zenit Matchday 6. That was his spell without a goal. Now, clearly, he had a big chunk in the middle of that without one. He also did have a run of 9 playing matches without scoring in that time, as well as the games he missed. Do we think he's ready to go on a little spree here, Romelu Lukaku?
Well,
and I'm really keen about not just tonight, but beyond, because the stats would tell you about the flat track bully thing, that over the years, he doesn't bang him in against United and City and Liverpool, but he does against Villa and West Ham and Southampton. Now, to take him to that next level, he's got to do it in the big ones, hasn't he? He's got to get the 1-0 winner over Liverpool on Sunday and the 2-1 winner in stoppage time against City later in the month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Ben, I absolutely know what you mean, but let's not look too far ahead of ourselves. He's come out of what was for him personally, a tricky time, whether it be with his health or with injury or both, when you want to put them under the same umbrella. And he's been brought in for a huge amount of money, one of the most expensive strikers ever in world football. And now he's got to deliver. Chelsea we've hung a hat on him. You're the man to bring us the Premier League title, the Champions League title again, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever you want. But he's the man we've hung a hat on. And that's huge responsibility that comes with. And this is probably, even though he went to Manchester United and he didn't really perform the way he would have liked, but I think his numbers were very good. This is different. This feels different. And he's had injuries. He's had COVID. Now what we saw when he came off the bench against Villa, and he said it himself, Ben, I thought his own interview was really interesting when he said, I needed that. He needed that. And I found that fascinating, for him to say to himself, it almost felt like he was saying, I needed to reprove to myself that I could do that. And boy, you and I covered it, Ben. What a stellar performance. That ticked every box of a £90 million striker, plus he had the lot. He dominated 2 centre-halves. He bullied the 2 centre-halves. Both of them couldn't deal with him. Konsa, brilliant centre-half. Mings, good Premier League centre-half. Totally ruined the pair of them. Changed the game. Went from a 1-1 to a 3-1. And it could have been more, Ben. Don't let that scoreline, confuse you. He could have had a couple of goals more himself. Mount could have had a goal. There could have been a free kick. It was that good. What I want to see now, keep doing it. Keep showing me. Keep proving to yourself you're capable. Because these are the games that we want to see him make a difference. A big difference. Not just the Cities, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Spurs, whatever it is. These games right now, he's now got to start to really put forward. Not necessarily score all the goals, Ben,
no,
but make a difference.
Right then, as this is the final game of another decorated year, we're going to have our unofficial awards. They've been talking about it there in the studio. Do I even need to ask what the moment of 2021 is?
Oh, my word. Well, I mean, no, you don't. You don't, Ben. It was, 29th of May. In fact, 7 months to the very day today, by the way.
Oh, very good, yes.
It was one of the greatest nights in Chelsea's history. In Porto, we beat Manchester City 1-0. A brilliant, brilliant pass from Mace. Underestimated pass. If you get to see it from behind the goal that Havertz scores in, there's an angle that's just amazing. He bends it away from the centre half into his path. It's right up there, one of the best passes you will ever see from a Chelsea player because of what it meant. And of course it needs the finish as well, but it was magnificent.
I'll go for either the full-time celebs there or the antithesis of that. Brighton at home last year, the worst game of football I've ever seen, 0-0, which was the night that we had to walk through the riots because we found out that the European Super League wasn't happening. And fun as Europe has been, the domestic is everything, and thank God that didn't happen. So that was a hell of a moment for good and bad.
Do you know what, Ben? You've just brought that back. That
right.
I forgot about that.
Player of the Year 2021, easy. Mason Mount, no arguments. Young Player of the Year for the calendar year.
Reece.
Okay.
Reece for me, again, the emergence of one of the, if not the best young right back in world football.
So I presume you're going to say for most improved. I know who you're going to say. You're going to say...
Oh, God, it's got to be Reece again, no?
Well,
Chalobah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tony Rudiger.
Chalobah, no.
I was going to say Reece James.
I'm going to go
most
Chalobah.
Improved, because where he is now, one of the most feared players in any position in the land, and at the start of the year, he dropped right off, actually, in some of his performances towards the end of Frank.
Tony?
No. Well, you could apply that to him too. I was talking about Reece. In January of this year, when Frank went at the end of January,
that's fair.
Reece, I was thinking, where's Reece gone?
That's fair.
And by the end of this year, he's everything Alexander-Arnold is and more, and the rest of them.
But Chalobah, can I just... Can we have a special mention for
Young
Trev?
Player of the Year, then, Trev. We'll give it to Trev.
Let's give it to... But I've not seen him play a bad game yet. He has not put in a bad performance. And I've been looking to analyse him, and I have done some analysis of him, and I will do. What I might do is analyse his bad games when we eventually get there. So at the end of the season, I might eventually get to the analysis where Trevor Chalobah has made some bad choices, bad passes. Give me another 3 months, Trev, and I might have enough to make a show reel.
Your favourite goal of 2021? You have a quick thing. I'm going to say the other day, not just because it's fresh, for pure technique, Mason Mount at West Ham, to volley a ball like that, off a ball like that, is damn difficult. And I love the Reece dink against Norwich here after that lovely move.
What about Reece away at Newcastle?
That was a boomer. St James's Park, that could be the winner.
Obviously the Havertz one rounding, Emerson for the but no, that's too simplistic. Do you know what? I like the Reece one here. I'm going to go Reece away at Newcastle left foot. It's on his weak foot. He's got that technique, the concentration and the level of technique on your right foot is hard. On your weaker foot, to deliver it with such aplomb and just put your laces through it, and just you watch his body, his body shape. He relaxes. He doesn't snatch it. You know, some players like who are naturally right-footed strikers, when they get in an area and it's on their weaker left foot, they snatch. You can see them change their. You watch his recent body. His body shape doesn't change from his right, which he scores a very similar goal on that day. He's there, body shape, relaxed. It's like he's doing it in training. That is a very difficult technique.
He's a fine finisher. He's a boy who's got the lot. He's been a big factor in 2021 as has the man, should I say, we're about to hear from now. He's not quite been in charge for the full calendar year, but nearly. Thomas Tuchel speaking after the Villa game and ahead of this one here.
We were super excited to have Jorginho and N'Golo Kanté and Kovacic in the bus yesterday evening. It was like the first time since months that we have our three midfielders who played the whole half a year for us together in the bus. Since months we waited for that, and the end is that we take N'Golo Kanté out in the first match where they played together. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek is injured and suffers from COVID. So I don't know what we do on Wednesday. I need to talk to the doctors and to the physios and to the fitness department, and then we will try to find solutions. And the situation is what it is. He had COVID, so he could not follow his rehab during the 10 days, and we start again. We lose a minimum of 10 days. Even I would say even more likely 2 weeks in the process, and so the decision will be delayed. I like them a lot. I think it's a great club and a great coach, and it's a great approach to of how they play the game. It's clearly when you switch on the TV or when you watch them, you clearly see an idea. It's very demanding to play against them because they play very fluid. They adapt their system to your system. They attack high, and have a lot of individual quality, and that's why it's a tough one. We struggle, we have injuries, and we have players who suffered from COVID, and we have no time to build them up. I have not a solution for all the schedule and for all the appointments that we have to play, but for me the schedule is not the problem. For me, in the moment, with a situation that so many teams struggle, because it's not only us, other teams have postponed matches, some of them have 2 postponed matches. So obviously we are in the middle of a very strange and very situation where all teams are affected heavily, and I simply don't understand why we cannot have like the 5 changes, because 5 changes have been invented also in UK now, when Corona first started. Everybody is affected by COVID, and you simply need more possibilities to protect the players and to share the minutes.
Thomas Tuchel there speaking after the Aston Villa game and before this one against Brighton tonight. Boys, let's have a little catch up then, more build up towards the game tonight. In fact, we've got quite a lot of social media reaction, which we'll get to as well. But it's one of those games tonight where it only matters once you get past it, isn't it? No disrespect to Brighton, but you want to finish the year in a good way, regardless of who you're up against. Yeah,
100%. Brighton are a good side. Graham Potter is a really good manager who I think is developing really well at Brighton. They play good football, progressive football, can attack really well. Last year probably didn't finish where they probably deserved to finish, actually. Quite unfortunate in front of goal. And they're a side that if you don't give them enough respect, they can do you in. Yeah. So I think Chelsea will be well aware of that and make sure that, I think the boys mentioned it during commentary, normal pie is kind of nullified. We've got the defence for that, and if Chelsea play their cards right, it should be a good game.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it, Sam? Because they've been almost their half of the season has been almost split into 2 halves. The first 7 or 8 games are unbelievable. I think they were top 4, for the first bit within the first 10 games. Then they've been on a really sticky, difficult run recently. Obviously, COVID has played a part in every squad in the Premier League for that, but got a really good result at the weekend against Brighton. Again, like Ben said, straight after our game on Sunday. they're a good side, and they're also probably a side now that are looking, thinking we have to build on that Brentford game, much like the conversation we're having after the Aston Villa game.
Yeah, 100%. And I think in that period of them having bad games, like they weren't necessarily playing terribly, they just wasn't scoring. So I think it would be similar with what Graham Potter said to the side, like don't panic. And you see in their performances, same against Brentford, they play good football. Once their attackers get going, they can look unstoppable. So I think it's just this is a test of what's going to come, because our next few games are going to be quite difficult in the new year. You want to end the year strong, so you start the new year much better. So, yeah, hoping for a good result.
Yeah, it's a great point. They've got a sticky run in January. It's going to be a very difficult, busy month. Let's get some social media reaction then before the game this evening. Excellent lineup. I am so happy Lukaku is leading the line tonight and back again. Also, please, Havertz is back and amongst our substitutes. Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it? It's a big thing having Kai back, because he's another one that's struggled for a number of reasons recently. We back, yeah. Biscoff and Jorginho, yeah, that too. That's a really good point. A lot of these are saying it, Zach, in terms of the team strength and the depth that we're getting involved and the players that we're getting back. That's such an important time to get that back at this point, because we're seeing games cancelled left, right and centre because of illness and etc. Here we go, here's another one, interchangeable, like we were saying, boys, earlier a little bit on. But having the options coming back to Chelsea and the strength in depth is something that we pride ourselves on, so that actually coming back to fruition is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, touch wood, it keeps going and nothing else happens, COVID related or whatever, injury wise or whatever. But when you're picking a squad and Kai Havertz is sitting on the bench, or I know he's not there at the moment, but Timo Werner, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, these guys sitting on the bench, and they're still fighting for a place in that first team. Like, it shows you the depth that you do have there, especially in an attacking sense. And it's weird, because 2 weeks ago we were sitting there going, we've got no striker, you know. So but that again, it's things out of our control. And so yeah, no, it's really good to see those boys come back again. We've got to give them time. Coming back from COVID isn't easy. We saw last time Kai had the effects of long COVID as well, that took him a bit longer. So it's about making sure they get the right support and also bring them on the right time as well. Like if we're kind of cruising a game, maybe it's an easy game for them to come on to. But Thomas Tuchel's dealt with that already. He's a much better manager than I'll ever be.
Don't say that.
Maybe. And yeah, so he'll know what to do for sure.
I've seen your football manager record, mate. You're doing all right. You're doing all right. Not too bad. It's a great point, though, Sam. You know, there's a responsibility to get players fit and firing back for it. And like we keep saying, January's a very, very big month now because of the players and that we're going to have missing for, you know, Edu Mendy obviously going off to the African Cup of Nations, which is a big miss, of course. But there's a lot of important fixtures coming up at us. So nights like tonight, again, like we've said before, we've been in this exact studio saying the exact same thing. They kind of only matter for you to get 3 points and move on from it. You can't be worrying about too many differentials. You've got to get the result. Yeah,
and I think with the fact that the last few games we've had a few results that have been quite shaky. We've had injuries, like we've said, you know, COVID as well. It's good to be getting the players back now, getting Kovacic and Jorginho, having that link up that we're so used to. Because it's no disrespect to the Loftus-Cheeks or Barkleys that have come in their place, but when you have certain players that have a skill set that are just beyond like a level, and you almost become so used to it that it's like when it's not there, when Kovacic is dribbling, you're like, I missed you. So I think it's good to see that back. It's good to see that Kanté doesn't have to be rushed back into games as well. And even with our back line, we've seen Trevor, he's had a few injuries. Thiago Silva's getting time to rest as well now. So I think it's good that we're getting the squad depth back.
No, absolutely right. You've got about 90 seconds to get your predictions in on Play Predict on the fifth stand-up, so get that done now. Boys, what are we going with? First goal scorer, Zach?
First goal scorer, Romelu Lukaku.
Has to be, doesn't it? Has to be. Final score, Sam?
2-0.
2-0. Let's do shots then, Zach.
On target or in general?
On target. Shots on target.
13.
Nice. Possession, Sam?
56.
56, okay. Okay, yeah.
They
are a good side. They're good on the ball, aren't they? And corners then, Zach, to round it off.
Corners, 7.
7, okay. Get your predictions in. You've got about a minute to get that done on the fifth stand-up. Some really cool prizes to be won. Megastore voucher, signed shirt, and obviously at the end of the season, if you're doing it every week and you win the lot, what a dream. Really, really cool prize to be won each and every match day. Boys, good work as always. The final fixture in the Premier League for 2021 is only a couple of moments away, so time to hand over to our commentary team of Jason Cundy and Ben Andrews.